Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking, all right? So shout out to everybody who is in the building early. It's good to see you guys, all right? So I got to try to run through this because, as you guys know, got another stream coming up at 8:30. Then got another one coming up, I think, at 9:55. And I'm going to try to squeeze one in between there, too. So, you know what I'm saying? Your boy is going to try to bust this out. I'm going to try to be as efficient as I possibly can. So I apologize. I'm not going to do the early morning, early bird shout outs to everybody. I apologize. Y'all know that I do care, though. You know what I'm saying? So please do not be upset that I'm not doing that. I promise I will get you guys next time. All right. If you guys can hear me, please give me a thumbs up. If you guys cannot hear me, please give me a thumbs down. If you haven't smashed the like button yet, please smash the like button. If you have not shared the video, please help me out by sharing the video wherever you're watching from. All right. So what we're going to talk about is the things going on down at the border, because it's getting very interesting. You got a face-off between Governor Greg Abbott and Joe Biden. All right. Texas lost the ruling with the Supreme Court, which allows Joe Biden to send Border Patrol and cut the razor wire that has been installed by the Texas government to try to deter migrants from coming to the border. However, despite the ruling, Governor Abbott is continuing to lay out the razor wire. Now, I'm not sure if anybody is aware of this. Oklahoma has sent their National Guard to help Texas, and a bunch of other states have come out in support of Texas. Now, I don't know if there's anybody that has come out in support of the Biden administration, but I know that a bunch of states have come out in support of Texas, Oklahoma being one, Virginia being one, and there's a bunch of other ones. If you guys know all of the states that have come out in support of Texas, please put it into the comment section. I got 2 videos and 2 articles. We were going to try to speed through these bad boys. Once we get to them, when we get done, you guys know what to do. Don't move a muscle. I'm going to play the outro. We're going to get right into the next live stream. And this one here, don't move. All you got to do is just stay in here. It'll take you right into the next live stream, okay? Make it super easy. All right, so let's check this out. We got a short video here from Fox, and it says, powder keg. Texas representative warns Biden seizing control over the National Guard will light a match. Because I don't know if anybody's aware, but Biden has been advised to attempt to take control over the Texas National Guard. All right. Yeah, exactly. You're right, Cassie. Texas is still allowed to put up the wire. The decision from Supreme Court of the U.S. just said that the feds could cut the wire. Right. Absolutely. You're right. And we know who supports Biden, right? Shout out to Carlton, California, New York, Illinois, all the I treat you right, I will states. Right? I treat you right, I will.
Texas Governor Abbott writing on social media that he will, quote, hold the line in Eagle Pass,
Shout out
meaning
to
that his
Patricia.
agents
What's
will
good
stay
with it,
there
Patricia?
and that they will not allow federal agents to come in. That caught the attention of Elon Musk, who replied, as you can see at the bottom of your screen there,
what's good with it, bro?
Good. Remember, he went to the border, Elon Musk, and looked at the crisis up close during a visit with Republican Texas Congressman Tony Gonzalez not that long ago. Gonzalez was in Mexico City this week. He sits on the House Homeland Security and Appropriations Committees. And we are, a heated border. We're going to welcome him in a moment. A heated border discussion on the show yesterday with NSC Coordinator for Strategic Communications, John Kirby, was part of our discussion. We like having John Kirby. We're glad he comes on the show. And we're going to play that for you in just a moment. But let me bring in Congressman Gonzalez. Thank you very much for being here, sir. It's good to have you. So here's a question. If Governor Abbott says he's going to hold the line, he's got Texas Public Safety and Texas National Guard protecting that area where they have put razor wire up to protect their state from people who are coming up, your state. And the government says they better be out of there by tomorrow. What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, thank you for having me, Martha. It's a powder keg. Look, I stand with the governor. Texans stand with the governor. You have Americans that are standing with Texas, saying, "Hey, look, we have to make sure that those that are coming over illegally, that there are some repercussions to this." I'd much rather see the Biden administration.
Now, let me ask you guys: do you guys agree that those coming over illegally should be dealing with repercussions? As you guys know, I agree with that. I feel that they should, right? Because again, they're coming over illegally. So why is it that people should be doing things that are illegal and then not having to deal with repercussions. Make it make sense. Shout out to my man AB Promotions. Shout out to my man Breeze Omega. What's good with it?
Just do their job, and instead of attacking Texans and governors and bringing a little illegal pass into this, how about you just enforce the laws that are on the books instead of putting all this energy into what is happening is the politicians are going back and forth, but the men and women on the ground that are doing the work, they're usually very close knit. The federal agency and the State Department, now all of a sudden they're being put in tough situations. We need to get away from that and start enforcing the laws.
Yeah, Joaquin Castro, a Democrat from Texas, your colleague, says Governor Greg Abbott is using the Texas National Guard to obstruct and create chaos at the border. If Abbott is
now, this guy here, Joaquin Castro, he looks a little bit on the zesty side. Just point that out. Governor Greg Abbott is using the Texas National Guard to obstruct and create chaos at the border. Now, let me ask you guys this question here. Wouldn't you say that there's already chaos at the border? Shout out to Carla. What's good with it, Carla? I don't know. I can't say if what Governor Abbott is doing is, quote unquote, creating chaos at the border. I would say that there was already chaos at the border, and the Biden administration's inaction on dealing with and enforcing border policy is contributing to and causing chaos. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. Shout out to Carlton. Carlton makes a good point. He says, hey, Zuckerberg, do you have room in your bunker? It's about to pop off above ground. Yo, Zuckerberg should take all the migrants into his bunker. What y'all think about that?
Defying yesterday's Supreme Court ruling, the President of the United States needs to establish sole federal control of the Texas National Guard now. Do you see that happening? Is President Biden about to take control of the Texas National Guard? There is a historic precedent for that under President Eisenhower.
Now, my question for you guys, what I want to know is, what do you think will happen if the Biden administration tries to take control over the Texas National Guard? This is wild. I don't think that people really know how wild this is. You know what I'm saying? But this is a wild situation, man. This is wild. And real quick, shout out to everybody that's watching. We got 27 people watching and 19 likes. If we can get the likes to 30, that would be great.
Do you think that's going to happen?
Well, he better not. He may be a fool, but I hope he's not an idiot. If we go down that route, this is going to talk about lighting a match to a very already delicate situation. I've been pushing, how many Americans have to die before this Biden border crisis comes to an end? Not to mention the number of migrants that are drowning every single week. This crisis has been going on for 3 years, and we have had enough. It's not only Texans; it's all across the country. There's somebody that has a direct connection to the fentanyl or the illegal illicit activity that's occurring. So we have had enough, and many of us stand by our governor here in Texas and are pushing the Biden administration to do their job. It's why I went to Mexico City. There's another piece of this equation too. It's the Mexican government, and to say, hey, look, we're always going to be neighbors, but I need you to be a partner.
Yeah, I mean, when President Trump was president, people had to go, when they were seeking asylum from South America, they had to go to the first safe country that they could find and stay there and apply. So there are already laws on the books that could be implemented by the White House. They don't need to wait until something happens on Capitol Hill. There's already plenty of laws that are on the books that they're ignoring, frankly, based on what we're seeing here. Congressman Gonzalez, thank you very much. It's always good to talk to you, sir. We hope everything goes smoothly there.
All right, so there's that. All right, so now we're gonna quickly look at this next video. All right, and this next video is detailing the standoff between the Texas National Guard and the Federal Border Patrol agents. There is an actual intra-country military standoff. Like, this is wild. I don't think that anybody alive has seen anything like this go down in their life. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to David Brown. What's good with it, bro?
A standoff between Federal Border Patrol and Texas state officials is intensifying following a Supreme Court ruling in favor of the Biden administration. Laura Barone Lopez has more.
Earlier this week, the Supreme Court said U.S. Border Patrol agents could remove razor wire that the state put in place along the Rio Grande River. The Homeland Security Department is demanding immediate access to a section of the border being blocked with razor wire and fencing. But Texas Governor Greg Abbott is doubling down, blocking the agents from entering the area and saying Texas's constitutional authority is, quote, the supreme law of the land and supersedes any federal statutes to the contrary. Joining me to discuss this further is Stephen Vladeck, a professor at the University of Texas School of Law. Professor Vladeck, thanks so much for joining. Republican Governor Abbott is saying Texas is going to hold the line. And
now let me ask you guys a question. Do you all think that Governor Abbott is violating the law? If you guys think that he's violating the law, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't think that he's violating the law, give me a thumbs down.
It's unclear when or if this razor wire is going to be removed. Who ultimately has the authority over the border here?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty clear under the Constitution, under our precedents, that immigration policy, control of the border really is ultimately in the federal government's purview. But Laura, I think it's just as clear that Governor Abbott wants this confrontation and that he's willing to take this battle all the way back to the Supreme Court before he's going to stand down.
And Governor Abbott is claiming that he has this authority under the U.S. Constitution because the federal government isn't protecting Texas against a, quote, invasion. That's the way he's been describing it. Is this a reasonable interpretation of the Constitution?
No, and in two different respects. I mean, the first is that obviously,
Now, let me ask you guys this question. How do you guys feel about this law correspondent here? Is this law correspondent interpreting the law correctly, or do you guys think that this guy is just taking the popular narrative? Let me know what you think.
Influx of asylum seekers, however many we're talking about, is not what the founders had in mind when they used the word invasion. But Laura, second, even if you're not persuaded by that, the clause Governor Abbott's relying on in Article 1, Section 10 of the Constitution was dealing with the specific scenario of the ability of states to respond to invasions until federal authorities were able to respond. This is a time in American history when the federal military was small, it was very spread out, it took weeks to travel, Congress was usually out of session. There's no support in our history, there's no support in founding era materials for the idea that states can decide for themselves that they're under invasion, and even if the federal government disagrees, that somehow it's the state's determination that would control.
Recently, 3 migrants.
So my question is, if states are also supposed to be sovereign, right? So my question is, if the state is also supposed to be sovereign in a situation like this, where it seems like the federal government is failing to intervene, which it clearly seems like, right? Like it clearly seems that way. My question then is, how does Texas protect itself from what's going on at the southern border? That's my question for you guys. What do you guys think? What do you guys got for me?
Drowned in the Rio Grande in this section that Border Patrol agents have been trying to access. And all this comes as a number of Republican governors still say that they support Texas, that they stand by Texas. What are the larger implications of this standoff between Texas and the federal government?
I mean, the larger implications are pretty staggering. It's not just the specter of a physical confrontation between federal and Texas officials along the border in Eagle Pass. It's also basically a relitigation of a debate that we had in American law for the first 70 years of this country about the ability of states to effectively nullify those federal laws that they disagreed with, that they thought were unconstitutional. For better or for worse in our constitutional system, federal law supersedes state law, even when we don't like how the federal government is or is not enforcing those federal laws. The remedies for those disagreements are not to allow every state to go out on their own and to have their own policies. The remedies, if you really have a problem with the policies, is to change the people who are making them. Otherwise, it's a federal system, Laura, in name only.
And Governor Abbott also claims that the federal government has, quote, broken the compact with states. What do you think he means by that? And have states in the past used?
Hey, shout out to Breeze Omega. Breeze Omega said this dude has a lot of bobbleheads behind him. He has a giant one on his neck, too.
That language to justify defying the federal government.
Yeah, I mean, the compact theory of the Constitution is a pretty outlier view, especially these days, about the way the Constitution was formed. The basic premise is that the federal government, the constitutional system we have, was formed by the states. And
shout out to Breeze Omega. I agree. This is why I kept asking you guys the question, do you all think that the border crisis would lead to a civil war? And I had said that I think that the most likely thing to initiate a civil war will indeed be this border crisis, usually because this is similar to a territory dispute, and a lot of times territory disputes are the things that really set off a war or a volatile condition. You know what I'm saying? Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to everybody that's watching. We got 30 people watching and 25 likes. If everybody can bang on that like button and get us to 40, that'd be great.
and therefore the states can control its terms. That was the argument on which the southern states predicated secession and helped to precipitate the Civil War.
There you go.
There's a reason why we tend not to hear that much of it these days. Again, I mean, I think there's a lot of folks who are going to have strong views about whether the Biden administration is or isn't doing what's best for the country at the border. But the way to air those disagreements is through the federal electoral process. In a world in which states can...
How do you do that when there's a lot of people who nowadays have trust issues with that very process? They've created a situation where many people do not trust that process. So in a situation where that process is not popularly trusted, how do you legitimately do that? That's my question for you guys. Let me know what you think.
Follow this version of the compact theory as a justification for interfering with federal authority. What's to stop California from doing that to the next Republican president? What's to stop Vermont from doing that to the next Republican president? And then we're talking about a system in which the states have all the power and the federal government is basically impotent to do anything.
Well, that's interesting. All right. That's interesting because from my understanding and interpretation of the Constitution, the states are supposed to have most of the power. And the federal government is supposed to act for the most part in ways that deal with international issues. But it is what it is. So an article came out yesterday morning from Newsweek saying Joe Biden faces growing calls to federalize Texas National Guard. All right. So now here's my question for you guys. If that happens today, what does that look like? What does that look like? Let me know in the comment section. President Joe Biden is facing renewed calls to federalize the Texas National Guard after Governor Abbott published an explosive open letter accusing the White House of having broken the compact between United States and the states with its immigration policy. I think that that's an accusation that is valid and definitely has a basis on which it's justifiable to be explored. What do you guys think? I think that that's a complaint that has legitimacy to be explored. And I don't think that Texas is the only state that would say that. I think that there's other states that would actually say the same thing. The calls come amid a surge in tensions between federal and Texan authorities, with the Supreme Court ruling on Monday, giving federal agents permission to remove razor wire from the Texas-Mexico border that has been installed on Abbott's orders. Now, let me ask you guys this question. If the federal government is removing razor wire that's meant to deter people from coming into the country illegally, what is the federal government doing about illegal border crossing? That's my question. What do you guys think? Think about that. Think about that question that I just asked. Let me know what you think in the comment section. In response, on Wednesday, Abbott released a letter reiterating his claim that illegal migration constitutes an invasion of Texas, and in response said he had invoked Texas constitutional authority to defend and protect itself, which is the supreme law of the land and supersedes any federal statutes to the contrary. Okay. The letter claimed that Biden had violated his oath and instructed his agencies to ignore federal statutes that mandate the detention of illegal migrants. It said the impact of federal policy is to illegally allow their en masse parole into the United States. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Is this creating a situation where they could say that Abbott is leading an insurrection, or that Abbott is trying to secede Texas from the United States? Do you guys think that this could be a situation where the propaganda infrastructure is going to start making those claims about Abbott based on what he's doing and how he's trying to defend Texas from the border crisis? And shout out to Patrick. What's going on with it, bro? And I got to agree. I agree with you, bro. Shout out to Patrick. Patrick says they are really going all out with the performative stunts. I doubt it. I'm sorry, but I think both parties are in on this illegal flood as well. Well, if you look at the playlist that these undocumented bros videos are a part of, somebody go look at the playlist. You know, you guys know how to look up playlists. Look up the playlist, and after you look up the playlist, tell me what the full name of the playlist is for the undocumented bros videos. Let me know. All right. I want you guys to look that up, okay? And type it in the comment section, okay? So now here it says the letter claimed Biden had violated his oath and instructed his agencies to ignore federal statutes that mandate the detention of illegal immigrants. It said the impact of federal policy is to illegally allow their en masse parole into the United States. Responding on X, formerly Twitter, Texas House Democrat Representative Greg Casar backed an earlier call by his colleague, Representative Joaquin Castro, that's the zesty guy, for Biden to federalize the Texas National Guard. All right, so they calling for Biden to federalize the Texas National Guard. He wrote, Greg Abbott has continued to use political stunts and inflammatory language to advance his own agenda, violating the Constitution and endangering both U.S. citizens and asylum seekers. Abbott is following the Donald Trump playbook, make immigration harder and more dangerous so asylum seekers are pushed into the hands of cartels and the system remains broken. Now, let's stop right there, because don't a lot of these asylum seekers seek cartel members? They look for cartel members in order for cartel members to help facilitate the logistics of getting them from point A to point B. Right? Would you guys agree? If you guys agree with that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. So now here it says, I agree with Joaquin Castro. Abbott is defying yesterday's Supreme Court ruling. Biden needs to establish sole federal control over the National Guard. The Supreme Court ruling allowing federal authorities to dismantle border fences was made on Monday, not Tuesday, as Casar implied. Okay. On Tuesday, Representative Castro shared an X post from Abbott vowing not to back down over the border, which he added Governor Abbott is using the Texas National Guard to obstruct and create chaos at the border. If Abbott is defying yesterday's Supreme Court ruling, President Biden needs to establish sole federal control of the Texas National Guard. Now, I believe that if this happens right now, that's not going to be good. That's not going to work. And honestly, I think it's going to be really bad for the Democrats, because I don't think that they're really calculating how many people actually kind of rock with Texas on this issue. I think they're way miscalculating the people that see Texas's point. I think there's a lot more people that can understand the logic that Texas is using behind what it's doing, more so than what the Democrats want to accept. Shout out to Dre D. What's good with it, bro? And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we got 30 likes, 36 people watching. We almost at that 40. If everybody can bang on that like button and get us to that 40, that'd be great. So now here it says the call was also supported by Anthony Michael Crease, an expert in constitutional law who teaches at Georgia State University. Joe Biden should respond to Greg Abbott by federalizing the Texas National Guard. I do not think that would be good for the United States at all. I don't think that those people realize the magnitude of the repercussions of what it is that they're asking for. Because there's a lot of people, that really like feel this way. You know what I mean? A lot of people that feel this way. Newsweek contacted Abbott's office and the White House outside normal working hours, requesting comment by telephone, voicemail, message, and email. Texas Attorney Ken Paxton posted on X that he stands shoulder to shoulder with Abbott, his fellow Republican, adding, I stand ready to bring any legal means necessary to defend Texas. State National Guards ordinarily fall under the control of their respective governors, but they can be federalized by a mechanism known as Title 10 status, which places them at the direct disposal of the president and defense secretary, with active duty officers taking over day-to-day command. In 1957, the Eisenhower administration federalized the Arkansas National Guard after the state's governor ordered them to prevent black students from attending Little Rock Central High School during the segregation area. Shout out to the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, who was down there as a part of that, being a racist bigot. You know what I'm saying? Under federal control, Arkansas National Guard, together with federal troops from the 101st Airborne Division, instead ensured the students were able to attend the school. Now, if it was me, you wouldn't have had to do all that. You ain't got to convince me. I wouldn't have even went to the school. But they felt that it was important to go to that school. So, you know what I'm saying? The Texas nationalist movement is campaigning for the Lone Star State to break away from the United States. And this has been going on for a long time, and become a fully independent country, using what it regards as the federal government's failure to control the Texas-Mexican border as one justification. Now, this has been going on, like I said, for a long time. You know what I'm saying? How many people were aware that this was going on? If you guys were aware that this is going on, give me a thumbs up. If you guys were not aware that this was going on, then give me a thumbs down. If Biden does federalize the National Guard, Daniel Miller, the TNM president, is urging Abbott to massively expand and militarize the Texas State Guard and deploy them to the southern border instead. Speaking to Newsweek, Trey Gober, a Texas-based trial attorney and managing partner at law firm Lee, Gober and Reyna, said it would be a mistake for Abbott to defy Monday's Supreme Court ruling on removing razor wire from the border. Supreme Court rulings are the law of the land. Federal law is supreme to any conflicting state law. It's not unprecedented for state or local officials to refuse to comply with a Supreme Court ruling. Two historical examples come to mind, Gober said. After landmark Supreme Court decision in Brown v. Board of Education in 1954, which declared state laws establishing separate public schools for Black and white students to be unconstitutional, several southern states resisted implementing desegregation. In response, President Eisenhower federalized the Arkansas National Guard and sent the 101st Airborne Division to enforce the court's decision and protect the students. Okay. Decades later, Kim Davis, a county clerk in Kentucky, refused to issue marriage licenses to same-sex couples following Supreme Court's decision Obergefell versus Hodges, which legalized same-sex marriage nationwide. Her refusal to legal action against her led to legal action against her, and she was briefly jailed for contempt of court. So they put this judge in jail for not, you know what I'm saying, marrying same-sex couples. You know what I mean? The attorney concluded, hopefully Texas Governor Abbott will put higher priority on his oath to support the Constitution of the United States rather than observing a political strategy. I think he's putting his focus on Texas is what I think he's doing. But, you know what I'm saying, when you are dealing with the mainstream media has you programmed, you know what I'm saying, to read from a narrative, and they want you to read from the narrative and not question anything. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to JW. JW, I don't know if you are aware, but Texas has really been wanting to move away from the United States as far as being a part of the United States for quite some time. Every couple years, they go real hard at trying to, you know what I'm saying, secede from the United States. You know what I mean? Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, you guys are great. I appreciate you all. Y'all are killing it. If you guys have not shared the stream, please take a moment right now and share the stream. If you're not a part of the Discord, please take a moment and join the Discord. Hit that link that's pinned in the chat. If you're not following me on my other social media, take a moment and do that. And remember, make sure that you watch this all the way through to the end. It will take you to the next stream, which will start about 5 minutes after we get through with this one. All right. Greg Abbott now, right? We talked about what Joe Biden was urged to do. Greg Abbott has now been urged to fully militarize Texas State Guard to counter Biden. I think that I got this feeling that Abbott's going to militarize the National Guard. How many people think that Governor Abbott is going to militarize the National Guard? If you think that Abbott's going to militarize the National Guard, give me a thumbs up. If you guys think that he's not, then give me a thumbs down. All right. A leading Texan nationalist has urged Governor Abbott to dramatically expand and militarize Texas State Guard if President Biden federalizes Texas National Guard, as some Democrats are demanding in response to the ongoing border crisis. Now, them people down in Texas, they actually rock with Texas like Texas is a country. I got this feeling that if Biden militarizes the Texas State Guard and the State Guard flips on Governor Abbott, I got a feeling that probably about 45% of the population is armed and ready to just stand in as a National Guard down there, because them people are wild down there. As far as when it comes to like all that Texas pride and cowboy hats and insanity. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. You know, you might not agree, you might not believe me, but I wouldn't be surprised. You know what I'm saying? Texas is on some other stuff. as far as how they feel about Texas. They really be rocking with Texas like it's its own country. You know what I'm saying? Texan House Democrats Greg Caesar and Joaquin Castro have suggested that Biden should bring the Texas National Guard under federal control using a mechanism known as Title 10 status if Abbott maintains his current policy over the border with Mexico. Now, why is it that the Biden Border Patrol has not had to suggest that they're going to do some type of improved policy? You know what I'm saying? Just look at Caldona. Shout out to Caldona. See, I ain't lying. I'm dead serious. They don't be playing down. They be wearing the cowboy hats and having the 6-shooter on their side at the mall. You know what I'm saying? With the shoestring tie around their collar, the Yosemite Sam tie. And it's just normal for everybody to be dressed like that down there. You know what I'm saying? Snakeskin cowboy boots and all that wild stuff. Okay. On Monday, the Supreme Court ruled federal agents can remove razor wire installed along the border on Abbott's instructions, sparking furious response from the Texas governor. 2 days later, Abbott released a letter claiming the current migrant surge into Texas constitutes an invasion and that he had involved his state's constitutional authority to defend and protect itself, which is the supreme law of the land and supersedes any federal statutes to the contrary. Okay. So for the most part, this is kind of just like a remix of that article that we just read. You know what I'm saying? This is a remix of the article that we just read. So basically, you guys get the idea. There's a conflict between, shout out to John Guillory. What's good with it, bro? Let's see, this is what I'm saying. Shout out to my man, John. I'm not lying about this, man. Them people from Texas got Texas pride, and it's different. It's different than like other people, like for real. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta either know somebody from Texas or understand Texas culture. When I say they got Texas pride, that Texas pride hit different than if you just a sports fan somewhere. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Now I don't even think y'all crazy, bro. I think it's just every region, every state, they got their own culture. That's just Texas culture, man. Texas is big. It's got a large economy. They got their own electrical grid. I mean, the economy is huge. I mean, for the most part, you know what I'm saying? Like they kind of do operate like their own country. So I get it. You know what I mean? Like it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? I'm not mad at it. It's just people that are not from Texas, you gotta go there and actually deal with somebody to understand what I'm saying. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you black, you got an SUV that's the size of a school bus with all black leather seats and black tinted windows. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? The white people always wearing cowboy outfits like they on a Western movie. It's just wild down there. It's just different. I just put it like that. It's just different. You know what I'm saying? Everybody packing, and they packing the old school guns with the revolvers where you just flip the revolver out and put the bullets in. They, you know what I'm saying? They pride themselves on that. It's wild. Yeah, everything bigger in Texas. They got the Escalade Denali. That's the size of a school bus with the black leather seats in it. You know what I'm saying? That's why they call it a slab. You know what I'm saying? They wild down there, man. But respect to the people from Texas. You know what I'm saying? Some of my favorite hip hop artists was from Texas. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man, Lil Flip. You know what I'm saying? That Clover life. You know what I'm saying? That Clover life. You know what I'm saying? So, yo, if y'all haven't hit that like button yet, hit that like button. Don't move a muscle. All right. We about to end this. All right. About to throw up the outro. Shout out to everybody for being here. Shout out to the replay gang. Y'all know what to do. Drop comments, #replay gang. If that's all you can do, we appreciate that. And I'll catch y'all in a few. All right. And as always, ladies and gentlemen,
walk up in the life. Yeah, I'm really talking my shit like I'm really him. Hold up. Look, walking this bitch like, hey. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like, hey. I'm really him. Don't believe me? Come and see me. Got 3 wishes from my genie. Now I'm on your local TV. Y'all don't talk about demons. Say she wanna come and see me when I'm in a local city. I'm like, pause though. Please step aside so they can see me. And I walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him on God. Walk up in this like, yeah, I'm really him. Talking about shit like, I'm really him. I'm the realest from my city, that's on my knee, that's on Kiwi, that's on mamas. Niggas don't believe me, come and see me. I been dodging all that face. All these niggas working broke, but I been getting paid. All that know me from the street, flexing for a feature, that's like every other week. Talk behind my back, I kick my feet up, have a seat, cause at the end of the day, all these watching me as I walk up in this like, yeah, I'm really him. Talking about shit like, I'm really him on God. Walk up in this like, yeah, I'm really him. Talking about shit like, I'm really him on God. Walk up in this like, yeah, I'm really him. Talking about shit like, I'm really him. Hold up, look, walking this like, hey, yeah, I'm really him. Talking about shit like, hey, I'm really him. Hold up.